Yeah, you can just bring them up when I'll do them as we're going. All right, everybody ready? Okay. I'd like to call this October 20th session of the Holyoke City Council to order. The clerk will call the roll and record those members present.
Alexander. Bartley.
Here.
Bresnahan. Shatnoff. Graney.
Here.
Jourdain.
Here.
Leahy.
You see Leahy?
Yep.
Present.
LeBron Martinez. I know. I feel like my. Okay. LeBron Martinez.
Here.
Lisi. Here. McGee. Here. McGivern.
Here.
Soto. Tallman.
Here.
Bacon. Here. Valentine. Here.
All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
God bless America.
And the city of Holyoke.
And the City Council.
We'll just give a second for our guests to come in. As you know, councilors, we have really a special opportunity on many different occasions to have an opportunity to reflect on the great work of many wonderful Hoyokers that serve our great community in and out all the time. And so certainly this evening is no exception to that. We're very pleased that Councilor LeBron Martinez filed recently a resolution that was supported by the entire body to recognize the great work of Virginia Perez. She had a wonderful life and made a tremendous contribution here in the city of Holyoke, and we're very honored to have many of her family and friends here with us this evening. It would be really my pleasure to ask Councilor LeBron Martinez if she could escort a couple of the members of Mrs. Perez's family here to the rostrum for a presentation. Welcome. It's my pleasure to introduce Councilor LeBron Martinez to say a few words on behalf of Mrs. Perez, and also if she would be kind enough to read the proclamation on behalf of the body to her family. Councilor.
Thank you, councilors, for voting and allowing this process to take place, as well as the family. I want to thank you all, family members and friends, for being here tonight in recognition of Virginia Perez, which I met about 20-something, some years ago, possibly, where she was known for doing a lot of civic engagement, getting people to register to vote, mobilizing the community at many different levels, in particular known by a neighbor-to-neighbor organization, which is one of the most grassroots organization known in the region. So with that said, I think I leave it now to her son introducing Joel to say a few words on behalf of receiving this acknowledgement tonight. Thank you.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you to the Board of City Councils. Thank you I'm honored, quite honestly, to give us this opportunity to represent my mother, Virginia. We are four brothers, actually five brothers and three brothers and two sisters. I'm sorry, I really don't have nothing written down, but I can talk from experience, from being a son. My mother was a woman who fought for the city of Holyoke, was a woman who always spoke to me about the things that she was doing for the city, gathering votes and registering voters and always looking out for minorities and kind of trying to clean up the city. She was a fighter. She was a very diligent woman, a woman who expressed her diligency through her efforts and her actions in a constant basis. I learned from her to be diligent, to be passionate, to be compassionate, to understand that there are people with needs, and that we cannot sit down in the comfort of our homes from 5 to 10 and not do nothing about it. And we always spoke, and we always talked, and we always tried to innovate our ways of outreaching and kind of working with Lyman and working with the Ward 1, which she specifically worked with. So once again, I just want to thank you. I hope that her essence within the city really does rely, because she did it out of her kindness of her heart. She didn't do it for a salary. She didn't do it for pride. She didn't do it for an ego. She didn't do it because she didn't do it for those obvious reasons. She did it because she wanted to see a better city. She wanted to see a population and citizens who were active and who were bettering themselves and empowering others in the process. So I hope that essence and that passion stays within your hearts today, and I wish that you'll be able to portray that within your leadership, that she may be able to impact you in some odd way in your life, however she did, because whoever she spoke to, she did impact on a daily basis. So I thank you. Once again, I don't know if my brothers want to say anything. So once again, I just thank you from our family to the Board of City Councilors. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is from the City Council. Be it resolved that the Holyoke City Council extends its congratulations to the family of Wilhelmina Perez in recognition of her many years of service and dedication to the community of Holyoke and the Western Massachusetts region. And be it further resolved that the Holyoke City Council extends its best wishes for continued success, that this resolution be duly signed by the President of the City Council and attested to, and a copy therefore transmitted by the Clerk of the City of Holyoke.
It's also my pleasure to welcome our mayor. Alex Morse is with us, and Alex has a few words he would like to share. Alex.
Thank you, President Jourdain, and thank you, City Councilors, for taking the time out of your meeting tonight to dedicate some time and memories to Wilhelmina Perez, who I had the great honor and privilege of getting to know over the last several years. It's great to see your family and all of you here this evening on a sad occasion, and see many of Wilhelmina's greatest friends and family and allies here tonight. I know many of us have worked with her in so many different capacities. I had the chance to get to know her as a member of Neighbor to Neighbor when she was going out and knocking on doors. And for her, it wasn't even just about politics. It was about improving the quality of life for people in the city, whether she was knocking on people's doors to combat the asthma rates that disproportionately affected low-income people and people of color here in Holyoke. She was fighting that cause. She was fighting to make sure that people in our community had access to safe neighborhoods, access to the democratic process, and she just sort of always radiated with passion and energy and a great smile that was infectious to everybody who got to know her and work with her. And I have no doubt that that legacy of her being involved in Holyoke will live on in her children and her family members and her friends. And so I'm looking forward to building that relationship with all of you. And I just want to thank you for the work that you do and for carrying on your mother's spirit here in the city. I know most recently she was working on the chaplaincy program here in the city and coming to different municipal events and city events. And I know that she will certainly be missed. And so I have a mayoral proclamation on behalf of the city of Holyoke. I, Mayor Alex B. Morse, want the family of Wilhelmina Perez to know that our hearts are full as we gather together to remember this great woman. We have tremendous respect for Wilhelmina and for her family, as she was an active participant in the social and political arena of the city. Her contributions will never be forgotten. In witness whereof, I have heard to set my hand and cause the official seal of the city of Holyoke to be affixed on this 20th day of October 2015. And I also do want to send the regrets and statements of our state representative, Aaron Vega, who was not able to be here tonight, but also wanted me to make sure I passed on his thoughts to Verhemina and to the family as well. So thank you again for that. And
Representative,
you have that?
a proclamation here also.
Okay. So we do have an official proclamation from Aaron. I know that he had worked closely with Verhemina as well on his campaigns and other campaigns in the city, and has always honored her. Be it hereby known to all that the Massachusetts House of Representatives offers its sincerest congratulations to the family of Verhemina Perez in recognition of Verhemina's lifetime of community service and devotion to the city of Holyoke. The entire membership extends its very best wishes and expresses the hope for future good fortune and continued success in all endeavors. Given this 20th day of October 2015 at the State House, signed by Speaker of the House, Bob DeLeo, and offered by our own state representative, Aaron Vega. And so again, on behalf of Aaron and myself, thank you for being here.
And we thank all of her friends and family for joining us this evening. Safe travels. Counselors, we happen to have one item laid on the table. Item number 1, absent a motion on that, we'll move to public comment. And now we have public comment.
I'd like to make a motion on number 1, actually, that we send it back to the Ordinance Committee.
Second.
Second. Motion's been made and seconded to remove from the table item number 1 and refer it back to the Ordinance Committee. All in favor of that?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Public comment. We happen to have 2 speakers that signed up to see us this evening and give us their thoughts on a topic of interest. First up, we have Miriam Quiones of 25 Linden Street. Miriam, welcome.
Good evening, Council. My name is Miriam Quiñones, and I live on 25 Linden Street, and I run the Politics 101 Civic Engagement and Leadership course, and some of my members are here tonight to witness the City Council meeting. As part of the Roberts Rules of Order in the Parliamentary Procedure class that we had last week, they're invited to come and witness you play those rules.
You can test us after the meeting.
But I wanted to take the opportunity to thank the City Council and the mayor and the clerk and community organizations and community members for their donations for us to be able to run this course. Also wanted to thank the councilors who have presented, Councilor LeBron Martinez, Councilor Lisi, Councilor Valentin, and President Jourdain. Thank you for presenting and giving us your insights and your expertise. And also wanted to take this opportunity to invite you all to our graduation that's happening next Wednesday, November 4th. That's after the election, so no excuses. November 4th at 5:30 at El Mercado. That's on 413 Main Street in Holyoke. you're all invited.
Oh,
Thank you.
wonderful. Thank you, Miriam. We appreciate that. And thank you for all your great work on that. That's really appreciated. That's great. 5:30. That's great. Our next speaker that signed up is Nelson Roman, and Nelson hails from 62 Commercial Street. Nelson, welcome.
Good evening, councilors. How are you tonight? I rise today in opposition of item number 32, which is the order presented by Councilor Bacon with, through you, Mr. Chair, Mr. President. I rise in opposition of item number 32, which is that the mayor of the city of Holyoke rescinds his executive order that would direct the police chief to ignore federal immigration laws on detaining illegal aliens. As a Latino member of this community and as an organizer and as someone who's truly passionate, the city of Holyoke isn't a bastion for illegal immigrants immigrating from south of the border, north of the border. And I feel that similar to the North's track and the Underground Railroad, and in the spirit of Guillermina, who we just acknowledged, who I knew personally, and Carlos Vega, I think that this, as it currently stands, should continue to stand. I don't think that it is something that should be rescinded. I think that Holyoke should be a community that is welcoming to all. And if you are truly an illegal immigrant who comes to the city of Holyoke and look for opportunity, hope, esperanza, as we would say in the Latino community, then you should be welcomed by the city of Holyoke. But this would disproportionately affect Latino communities and communities of colors if we rescinded this action, and then we would have a heavily police state. How would you determine who is an illegal immigrant or not? It's extremely discriminatory, and with all due respect, I rise in opposition of item number 32. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay. And that now brings us to communications. And item number 2. Item number 2 is a communication from the mayor. This is subject to your approval, councilors. I hereby reappoint the following individuals to serve as members on the Library Board of Directors for the City of Holyoke. Bellamy Schmidt of 661 West Cherry Street, George Metty of 7 Hemlock Drive, Mr. Jeremy Smith of 485 Hillside Avenue. They will all serve one-year terms expiring February 2016. Also subject to your approval, I hereby reappoint Patrick Leahy of 9 Wyckoff Avenue. He is going to be serving a 2-year term, which will expire February 2017. Respectfully submitted, Alex Morse, Mayor.
Mr.
Motion
President?
to receive, adopt, and confirm, pending, yep.
Yep.
Second.
Motion on the floor is to suspend the rules and to confirm the appointments of all 4 of these gentlemen. Recognizing now Councilor Leahy.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. Good evening. I just want to let you know that, let everybody else know as well that I spoke with Kara, and this is my brother that's being reappointed for a 2-year term, and there's no conflict because it's not a paid position, so I will be voting.
Okay. Your brother appreciates your vote.
I didn't say I'm going
Assuming
to
you're
vote
voting
for it.
him.
I might be voting against him.
Very good, very good. So, councilors, motion on the floor is currently to suspend our rules and to confirm all 4 of these nominees. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Item number 3. Item number 3 is also an appointment letter from the mayor. This is subject to your approval, councilors. I hereby appoint, this is a new appointment, the following individual to serve as a member of the Library Board of Directors for the City of Holyoke, Miss Kelly Curran of 230 South Street. She's going to be filling the vacant seat of Wesley Kulig and will serve a 2-year term expiring February 2017.
Make a motion to receive and send to public safety? Second. Service, rather.
service.
I'm sorry.
Motion's been made and seconded to send to public service, and I also have happy to report that we actually have a copy of the resignation letter of Mr. Kulig attached. So we're following our much requested protocols. So Mr. Kulig did resign. We have the resignation letter. There is an open seat. Ms. Curran has been nominated, and the motion on the floor is to receive and refer to public service. Any discussion? Councilor
Just
Bartley.
point of order, Mr. President.
Yes.
Just under protocols,
Yes.
I was very happy to see that we received from the clerk's office minutes through the email for Stormwater Authority and various other DPW boards. I'm wondering, however, have we received yet any minutes from the Board of Retirement? I distinctly remember Cheryl, Ms. LeBrien here saying, we're going to get them to you, and we're going to get last year's, we're going to ship them all in, Dave. Have we had any minutes yet from retirement?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Can I humbly request through you that Ryan
faithful
contact?
aid here.
Thank you.
Yes, could you inquire with Ms. Dugree as to the whereabouts of those
And
minutes?
just remind the other boards that, you know.
We
get
have an
with-
ordinance.
Yeah, get with the program, too. That would be nice if they could just get us the minutes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Really, the only delay should be for executive sessions. Other than that, they should all be here as soon as approved, and they themselves are supposed to be approving their own minutes pretty timely. Okay, councilors, motion on the floor is to send Ms. Curran to the Public Service Committee for a hearing. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so moved.
Mr. President, can we suspend and take 4 and 18 as a package, please?
4 and 18?
Second.
Okay, motion is to suspend the rules to take items 4 and 18 as a package.
Second.
All in favor of that?
Aye.
Opposed, so moved. Item number 4. Item number 4 is a communication from the mayor. It's a letter asking for our support on a resolution to approve a certified project and tax incremental finance agreement for International Container Company LLC, located at 110/120 North Bridge Street. Item number 18 on the agenda is an order from Councilor Bartley that the City Council approve a certified project and tax increment financing agreement for International Container Company / Cyrillus Associates LLC for its expansion at 122 Mosier Street.
Just a motion sent to DGR, please.
Second.
Motion on the floor has been made and seconded to receive both items 4 and 18 and refer them to the Development and Government Relations Committee. Any discussion?
We'll take these up on the 9th of November. It's a Monday, 6:30, among other things at that point. Thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So moved.
Mr. President, can we take a package number 5 through 9
5
and receive?
through 9. Okay.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to suspend the rules to take items 5 through 9 as a package. All in favor of that?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Mr. President,
Yeah, sure.
if I have a correction for the minutes, is it okay to have these all as a
Absolutely.
package?
Yep,
Okay,
absolutely. Just offer an amendment.
okay, thanks.
Okay, so item number 5 is is a communication from Brenna Murphy McGee, our city clerk, as well as Ryan Allen, who's our administrative assistant. This is the minutes of our meeting of October the 6th. Item number 6 comes to us from the License Board Commission, and it's the minutes of September 9th. Item number 7 is from the Board of Public Works. It's the minutes of September 21st. Item number 8 is the Sewer Commission minutes of September 21st. And item number 9 is the Stormwater Authority minutes of September 21st. So that is the, what encompasses the package. Is there a motion?
I had it, but I think I threw it out.
Motion would be, that would be appropriate here, would be to receive items 5 through 9 and also to approve item number 5.
I would like to make an amendment to,
How about we do the main motion first?
Okay.
We have students here for parliamentary procedure, and I don't want to get dinged.
You're quizzing
So,
us.
I'm trying to keep my A rating here, so we'll have the main motion first, and then we'll go to amendments.
All right.
Okay, is there a motion on the floor to that effect?
Motion to receive.
Second.
Okay, motion to receive, and also to approve item 5, because we need to approve our own minutes. Is there an?
Yes, so moved.
Okay. Motion has been made and seconded to receive items 5 through 9, also to approve item number 5. That is on the floor. Counselor Valentin.
thank you. I'd like to make an amendment, because there is a correction that I would like to make.
Sure. What number?
It doesn't have a number, but it's under the orders and transfers.
Okay, so is this item 5?
Yes. For
Okay,
the
item 5.
Yep. Under
Transfers.
orders and transfers, where it says Valentine and Alexander, and it's the order about the 303 Pleasant Street being monitored regarding speeding. It says referred to DPW, and if I remember correctly, we referred to HPD because it's about enforcement in that area.
We did. Yeah.
And so it just says referred to the
Okay,
DPW.
this-
So
you
I
said
want,
303 Pleasant, right?
yeah, I want to make sure it gets to HPD and not
So
DPW.
Referred, and then amend that to say HPD.
Correct.
Okay. So Counselor Valentin makes an amendment, and this is going to be on page 6, counselors, of our minutes. This is the item marked Valentin Alexander ordered, that the residential area in the vicinity of 303 Pleasant Street be monitored by HPD to address speeding concerns from residents in that area. Additional speed limit enforcement is needed. Receive and adopted. Currently reads referred to the DPW. The counselor asks that the word DPW be substituted for the word Holyoke Police Department. Is there a second to that?
Second.
Second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the amendment?
Aye.
Opposed, so moved. Stands amended.
Thank you.
No problem. And now we have back on the main motion, which is to receive items 5 through 9 and approve item 5. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so moved. Item number 10. Item number 10 comes to us in the section on petitions. First one up is a petition of John Redmond. He's from the Shield Hotel Management Company. He's requesting a new special permit to allow a commercial drive-through to be used at 245 Whiting Farms Road.
Make a motion to send the ordinance.
Okay?
DGR.
For DGR.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to receive, to refer to the DGNR committee. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so moved. Item number 11. Item number 11 is a petition of Laska Hoey. She seeks a renewal of her home occupation permit at 7 Line Road for her massage business, and I would
Receive, adopt,
suspend
the
the rules. and
renewal.
adopt, yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to suspend our rules to grant the renewal of Laska Hoey for the home occupation at 7 Line Road.
Do we have a statement from Treasury and
Municipal
all?
fees
Yep.
and
Everything is current, and should be noted, she's had this permit for a long, long time. We would request that any currently existing conditions would remain, and she has paid the $100 refiling fee.
great.
Okay, any other discussion? Okay, motion on the floor is to grant the renewal. Clerk will call the roll. A yes vote is in favor of the renewal, a no vote is to deny it.
McGee. McGivern.
Yes.
Soto. Tallman.
Yes.
Bacon.
Yes.
Valentine.
Yes.
Alexander.
Yes.
Bartley.
Yes.
Bresnahan.
Yes.
Shatnow.
Yes.
Greeny.
Yes.
Jordan. Leahy.
Yes.
LeBrun Martinez.
Yes.
Lisi.
Yes.
Unanimous vote of the body.
By your vote, you have approved the home occupation permit at 7 Line Road for Laska Hoey. President's report. I just have a couple items I'd like to go through. First of all, I would request that the body have a moment of silence for Ed Barucki. Ed Barucki, if you'll recall, was one of the last remaining survivors of Pearl Harbor and is a native of Holyoke. He ultimately did move many years later to Southampton, but Ed was a tremendous advocate for veterans here in the area and was nationally known as one of the survivors of Pearl Harbor, and certainly is part of one of the leading members of that greatest generation, and certainly one of their more outspoken advocates here in our area. And we lost Ed this past week, and so if we could honor him with a moment of silence, please. Thank you. The other thing I wanted to share with you, counselors, is that on your behalf, since our last meeting, I did make 2 contributions, both in the name of Pat Higgins, to various memorial contributions that the family and he had requested. One was a contribution to Jericho from the Flower Fund. The other was to the Holyoke Soldiers' Homes Activity Fund. So I did want to let you know that we did make a contribution and lay you with flowers in honor of our former colleague, Pat Higgins. So I did want to just mention that to you. So that's basically at this point for the President's report. I'll keep it brief at that. Councilor McGivern.
Mr. President, if I could just ask you to do the same for our fire chief who passed away, former fire chief who passed away this week, Leonard Andrews.
Oh, yes.
Andrews is a longtime member of the fire department, and he ended his career as the chief.
Yes, thank you for remembering that as well. A moment of silence, if we will, for our former fire chief, Chief Andrews. Thank you. Reports of committees. Reports of committees. First up is the Ordinance Committee. The Committee on Ordinance, to whom was referred an order that a handicap sign be placed in front of 221 Elm Street for Ruben Duran, recommend that the order be adopted.
Motion to suspend the rules to take up 12A and B as a package.
Okay. Motion's been made and seconded to take up 12A and 12B as a package. All in favor of that?
Aye.
Opposed, so moved. 12B is also from the Committee on Ordinance, to whom was referred an order that a handicap sign be placed in front of 35 Northeast Street for Lorianne Bresnahan. Recommend that that also be adopted. This comes recommended from Councilors Lisi, Vacan, Bartley, and Shatnoff.
Motion to pass the first reading.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to pass the first reading. Under discussion, Councilor Lisi.
Thank you. These are two handicap placards. The Commission on Disabilities and the Chair, Don Walsh, reviewed the applications, visited the sites, and then eventually recommended that they be adopted.
I'm sorry? Okay. All right, thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of passing the first reading?
Aye.
Opposed, so moved.
Motion to pass the second reading.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to pass the second reading. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so moved.
Motion that the passage be ordained.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded that the passage be ordained. There is no further discussion. The clerk will call the roll. A yes vote is in favor of the two ordinance changes. A no vote is to deny.
McGee. Yes. McGivern.
Yes.
Soto. Tallman.
Yes.
Bacon. Yes. Valentine.
Yes.
Alexander.
Yes.
Bartley.
Yes.
Bresnahan.
Yes.
Shatnoff.
Yes.
Graney.
Yes.
Jordan.
Yes.
Leahy.
Yes.
LeBrun Martinez.
Yes.
Lisi.
Yes.
Unanimous vote of the body.
By your vote, you've approved those two ordinance changes, marked 12A and 12B on the agenda, which now brings us to 12C. 12C comes to us also from the Committee on Ordinance, to whom is referred a special permit application for the installation of a telecommunications antenna on the existing rooftop located at the Delaney Inn at 1 Country Club Road. Recommend that the application be approved, and this is signed off by Councilors Lisi, Vacan, Bartley, and Shatnoff.
Motion to pass the first reading.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to pass the first reading. Under discussion, Councilor Lisi.
Yes, so this is an application for a new 2 antennas that are 2 feet tall on the top of the Delaney House Inn at 1 Country Club Road. It's proposed by Bell Atlantic and Verizon, and their representative, President of the City Council in Springfield, Michael Fenton, is here this evening if there's any additional questions. But it's a pretty straightforward application because the D Hotel has existing antennas on the structure, making it a existing wireless telecommunications facility, and therefore there wasn't a very thorough review. What we did in committee, however, was look at the plans. They seem to be at 2 feet tall, have very little impact on the visual of the area while increasing the coverage to Holyoke greatly. So we voted in favor of this that evening.
Okay, Councilor Leahy.
Yeah, very quickly, I spoke to Squire Finton, and I also spoke to the owners of the log cabin, the Delaney House. As Councilor Lisi stated, that these are less than 2 feet tall. If you look at the pictures, people will not notice them at all. This is a good thing for the city because this will increase the property value and we'll get more property taxes.
Okay, very good. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of passing the first reading?
Aye.
Opposed, so moved.
Motion to pass the second reading.
Okay.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded to pass the second reading. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so moved.
It's actually a special
The
permit.
special permit be
Sorry.
granted. Yeah, that's okay. Special permit be granted.
Motion that the special permit be granted.
Okay, motion's been, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded that the special permit be approved. Hearing no further discussion, the clerk will call the roll. A yes vote is in favor of granting the special permit. A no vote is to deny it.
McGee. Yes. McGivern.
Yes.
Soto. Tallman.
Yes.
Bacon. Yes. Valentine.
Yes.
Alexander.
Yes.
Bartley.
Yes.
Bresnahan.
Yes.
Shatnoff.
Yes.
Graney.
Yes.
Jordan.
Yes.
Leahy.
Yes.
LeBrun Martinez.
Yes.
Lisi.
Yes.
Unanimous vote of the body.
By your unanimous vote, you have approved the telecommunications antenna special permit located at 1 Country Club Road. Item number 12D, the Committee on Ordinance, to whom was referred an order that the city develop an ordinance that creates a commercial kitchen program that the fire department can implement. Have considered the same, recommend that this order be given leave to withdraw. Councilors Lisi, Vacan, Bartley, and Shatnoff.
Motion to receive and adopt the committee report.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to receive and adopt the committee report. Under discussion, Councilor Lisi.
Thank you. I was approached by the fire department to file this order because they wanted to create a commercial kitchen permit, inspection permit, and associate a fee with it. Now, the fire department has the ability to create the permit on its own, but it needed the city council to vote on an ordinance to associate a fee with that permit. The ordinance committee, when we heard about this, didn't feel that there was a strong enough case made for why a fee needed to be attached to it. So we asked the fire department and inspectors to do a little bit of more community outreach and hold some stakeholders meeting around the issue. When I put it back on the agenda, I reached out to the fire department and asked them if they made progress, if they were ready to talk about this again. And Chief Pond told me that they were not interested in pursuing the permit any longer without a fee at this time.
Okay. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of adopting the committee report?
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. Moving on now to the Finance Committee, which first brings us to item number 13A. The Committee on Finance, to whom was referred an order that the City Council invite the Mayor's Office and City Clerk in to discuss the codification of our city ordinances and when was the last time Unicode was updated. I'll recommend that the order be adopted as amended and to say refer to the Mayor's Office to adopt and restore the funds from Unicode as stated in the previous budget hearing, and this is signed off by all 5 members of the Finance Committee.
Make a motion to receive, adopt the committee report, and then refer it over to the mayor.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to receive and adopt the committee report and refer this item over to the Mayor's Office. Under discussion, Councilor McGee.
Self-explanatory.
Okay, any other discussion? Councilor Bacon.
I would just note that it's been some time since this has been updated, and it's really important that our records are complete when people are particularly trying to do research on our ordinances. And so I hope the mayor will restore this money so that we can be current. Thank you.
September 2013 is the last update. Okay, so all in favor of adopting the committee report?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Item number 13B. Item number 13B is a report from the Committee on Finance, to whom was referred an order that, in accordance with Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53A, the City Council hereby accepts the provisions of the State Homeland Security Program grant and authorizes the establishment of a fund or other method appropriate for the accounting of the receipts and expenditures of all resources associated with the administration of that grant. Have considered the same and recommend that the order be adopted, all 5 members of the Finance Committee.
Make a motion to receive, adopt, pass first reading.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to receive, adopt, and to pass the first reading. Under discussion, Councilor McGee.
Yes, as I stated last night in the meeting, Chief of the Auxiliary couldn't make it in. However, he did send a communication to update you. It's a $2,500 grant. There's no city match, of which the grant's going to go towards buying more radios for the auxiliary police. They currently have 30, and they need 73, so they have a significant shortfall. This grant is here to help with some of that shortfall.
Great. Any other discussion? Councilor Tallman?
Yeah, I talked to Chief Dietrich today and also said that one of the officers applies for this grant, Mr. Riffenberg, was very helpful in getting this done. So it's important that this money comes in and helps buy the equipment for the men and women of the auxiliary police.
Super. Great. Any other discussion? All right. All in favor of passing the first reading?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Pass the second reading.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to pass the second reading. Any discussion? Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll. A yes vote is in favor of adopting the committee report and accepting this grant. A no vote is to deny it.
McGee.
Yes.
McGivern.
Yes.
Soto. Tallman.
Yes.
Bacon.
Yes.
Valentine.
Yes.
Alexander.
Yes.
Bartley.
Yes.
Bresnahan.
Yes.
Shatnow. Graney.
Yes.
Jordan.
Yes.
Leahy.
Yes.
LeBrun Martinez.
Yes.
Lisi.
Yes.
Unanimous vote of the body.
By your vote, you have approved that grant. Item number, moving on to 13C. Committee on Finance, to whom was referred a second-hand license application for Brad Matthews Jewelers located at 220 2225 Northampton Street. Recommend that the application be approved. And this comes to us from all 5 members, Councilors McGee, Leahy, Tallman, Bacon, and Jordan.
Motion to receive, adopt, and grant the secondhand license.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to receive and to approve the committee report and to grant the secondhand license for Brad Matthews Jewelers. Under discussion, Councilor McGee.
Yeah, this was interesting. This gentleman has been doing this since 2006. It was his bank, Citibank, went to him and said, you really need this license for what you're doing, which is getting precious metals. He just didn't know, so he ran right into City Hall and complied in order to get the license. Gave us all the information that we normally ask with regards to this, and he just wanted to be compliant. Like I said, been there since 2006, no issues at all, and fully in compliance with all the taxes and everything else.
And I will note that all municipal charges and such are current. Recognizing Councilor Leahy.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Yeah, he's an excellent businessman in the city of Holyoke. As Councilor McGee said, that he wasn't aware of this. It wasn't until he went to his insurance company that his insurance company said that he needed this license through the city. And so he came in to do the right thing. He has a wonderful store if you guys have been there. And I just applaud him for coming in to do the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of, actually, we're going to need a roll call vote on this since it is a license. Clerk will call the roll. A yes vote is in favor of granting the secondhand license for for Brad Matthews Jewelers. A no vote is to deny it.
Yes.
McGivern.
Yes.
Soto. Yes. Tallman.
Yes.
Bacon.
Yes.
Valentine.
Yes.
Alexander.
Yes.
Bartley.
Yes.
Bresnahan.
Yes.
Shatnoff.
Yes.
Graney.
Yes.
Jordan.
Yes.
Leahy.
Yes.
LeBron Martinez.
Yes.
Lisi.
Yes.
Unanimous vote of the body.
By your vote, you've approved the secondhand license for Brad Matthews Jewelers. Item number.
Mr. President,
Yes,
sorry
sir.
to interrupt you. Can
Yeah, no
we
problem.
take up D to I as suspend the rules, take them up as a package because they're all complied with? I can go through each one.
Sure.
If people don't want to do that, we
Second.
don't have to, but.
Okay. Motion on the floor is to suspend the rules to take up 13D through 13I as a package. All in favor of that?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Up, Counselor Soto? You object to that? Yes. Okay, well, is there any one of those you want to take out?
13D, I want to hear the.
Okay. So you want to suspend the
From
rules to do 13E
13E
through 13I?
That's fine.
Counselor McGee, is that okay? And we'll do 13D separate?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Motion on the floor is to suspend the rules to do 13E through 13I as a package. All in favor of that?
Aye.
Opposed, so moved. Okay. So we're going to come back to D, and we'll do E through I as a package. Just let me walk through these for you. Item number 13E, these are all Finance Committee reports. First one up is that the city look into the purchase of a debit credit card machine for City Hall offices where cash is accepted. Recommendation from the committee that that has been complied with. 13F is an order that the law department please update the city council on the status of the Munis system and the advances that have been made. If the law department no longer handles the Munis system, then please forward to the appropriate department handling such a matter. The committee recommendation is that has been complied with. 13G is that an order was referred, a petition of Holyoke residents in opposition to the proposed stormwater runoff fee. That was received by the committee, and that petition has now been deemed complied with. 13H is also a petition of the residents regarding opposition to the proposed stormwater runoff fee, and that petition has been heard and now complied with. 13I is regarding an order that was referred to it that the city council is provided with an update on recently settled cases by the law department. The finance committee has reviewed that and recommended that that order has been complied with. So that is the package for your consideration. Councilor McGee, do you have a motion?
Make a motion to receive and adopt the committee reports that they are complied with.
Okay. Second. Motion's been made and seconded that 13E through 13I be received and be deemed complied with. Under discussion, Councilor McGee.
I'll go through each and every one, and if, like I said, people have questions, we'll go through it. But with regards to E, it's just housekeeping. They do have a debit credit card machine in the clerk's office, which is where this originated. So we just thought, since it's now in play, just clean out the jacket. The other one was the Munis system. That's the one I've been ongoing battle for me with regards to how to get all the groups onto Munis and work as one group. We've had all the departments in, and as we all know, everything's all over the board. So I'll clean out the jacket, say this is complied with, and refile it in another fashion to stay on top of this one. With regards to G and H, we did have the petitions taken up. We opened it up to the public. With regards to the sewer issue, the public spoke about it, as well as the mayor, and after hearing everything, we believe that it was complied with regard to the petitions. With regards to I, Kara came in, gave us a list of all the cases that have been settled just recently. You have a copy on your desk as to what that is. I don't know who scribbled that is, just pointing that out. It's not mine.
That's mine. I don't know where I got that from.
That is on your desk for review, so that has been complied with as well.
Counselor Bacon.
Thank you. I wish to make a couple comments on items G and H. As many of you are aware, there was a campaign meeting held by the mayor the night before the public hearing relative to this matter, and then there was the actual formal public hearing held the next evening here in Chambers. And given all the feedback that the petitioners first indicated by well over 100 citizens signing on to the petition, and then those testifying, communicating to the public, the mayor stated publicly that he will not be pursuing his proposed stormwater fee to balance this year's budget. Subsequently, documents that have included it as part of the budget balancing have been requested to be amended. And so I would say that this was a good example of the citizens petitioning us, their representatives, and a good reminder that that's exactly what we're here for, to serve the citizens. Thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay. All in favor of adopting the committee recommendations that all of these items have been complied with? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So moved. Which now brings us back to item 13D. 13D is a committee report from the Committee on Finance, to whom was referred and ordered. This is a resident's petition regarding the $45,000 payment from the mayor to former city solicitor Heather Egan. Recommend that a letter be crafted by the council president to the State Ethics Commission, subject to city council review. Recommend that the petition has been complied with, and this is signed off by all 5 members of the Finance Committee. Under discussion or motion?
Make a motion to receive and adopt that the order has been complied with.
Okay.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded that the order, the committee recommendation be adopted, which is to have the council president craft a letter, and therefore the order be complied with. And I, of course, would review that letter with you, the draft letter, before I would send it. So that's the motion. Under discussion, Councilor McGee is right.
Thank you, Mr. President. We've had several meetings with regards to this petition. A lot of questions as to what we can and cannot do. Kara came in, and as always, she's given us all the information that we were looking for. One of the issues was whether or not unemployment was paid. To our understanding, it was roughly around, I think it was 20 to 25,000. So it would be 45,000 plus the 25,000 for unemployment. Whether or not taxes were taken out, and then what to do ultimately with this order, which then a motion was made to have the council president draft a letter to the Ethics Commission, as you stated, and then referred out this way.
Any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. 13J?
Can we suspend the rules, take up 13J and K as a package?
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to take up items 13J and 13K as a package. All in favor of that rule suspension?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. 13J is a report from the Committee on Finance, to whom was referred a financial transfer request of $7,250 from utility person and secretary to Energy, Gas, and Electric. Recommend that this financial transfer be denied. Item number 13K is a report from the Committee on Finance, to whom was referred a taxi cab license application from Mr. Farah Baramonde of 58 Timber Drive, East Long Meadow. Recommend that the application be denied, and this is signed off by all 5 members of the Finance Committee. Councilor McGee for a motion.
Motion to receive, adopt the committee report to deny both requests.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to receive the committee recommendation and thereby deny both of these 2 respective matters. Under discussion, Councilor McGee.
Really, it's just housekeeping. We're not trying to be mean to these people. 13J, they thought they were going to have a shortfall for the gas and electric. However, this came in at the very end for the fiscal year, so it's nothing that we could really act on. It came in too late. So it's just been in the file, and the new budget is addressing their gas and electric issue. So it's just, you have to deny the request to then move it forward, especially on a financial transfer. With regards to 13K, we've sent out notices, I think it was 2 or 3 times, to have the person come in for the taxi cab license. No response. In the jacket, it was to deny, so we thought it was already acted on, but I think it got caught up in there, so it's just cleaning it out to make sure we deny it correctly.
Okay. Any discussion? Hearing none, we're going to have to take a roll call vote on these, since one is an application, the other is a financial transfer. Why don't we do the first reading as just go through?
Pass the first reading?
All in favor of passing the first reading? Aye. Opposed, so moved.
Pass the second reading.
Okay.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to pass the second reading. Committee recommendation, just be careful on this one, councilors. Again, committee recommendation is to deny. Therefore, a yes vote is to deny both of these, a no vote is to grant, okay? Clerk will call the roll.
McGee,
Yes.
McGivern,
Yes.
Soto,
Yes.
Tolman.
Yes.
Bacon.
Yes.
Valentine. Alexander.
Yes.
Bartley.
Yes.
Bresnahan.
Yes.
Shatnoff.
Yes.
Graney.
Yes.
Jordan.
Yes.
Leahy.
Yes.
LeBron Martinez.
Yes.
Lisi.
Yes.
Unanimous vote of the body.
By your vote, you have voted with the committee recommendation on 13J and K, and therefore denied those 2 items, which now brings us to 13L.
Can we take L and M, suspend the rules, take them up as a package?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to suspend our rules to take up items 13L and 13M as a package. All in favor of that?
Aye.
Opposed, so moved. 13L. 13L is a report from the Committee on Finance, to whom was referred an order that, in accordance with Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53A, the City Council hereby accepts the provisions of the Hazardous Materials Emergency Preparedness Grant and authorizes the establishment of a fund or other method appropriate for the accounting of the receipt and expenditures of all resources associated with the administration of said grant. The recommendation of the committee is that this be given leave to withdraw. Item number 13M is a report from the Committee on Finance, to whom was referred a pawnbroker license application from Ty W. Kang of 311 High Street. Recommend that the application be given leave to withdraw. This is signed off by all 5 members of the Finance Committee.
Make a motion to receive, adopt the committee report to give both leave to withdraw.
Okay,
Second.
motion's been made and seconded to receive the committee report and to give both items leave to withdraw. Under discussion, Councilor McGee.
With regards to L, what happened with the grant is it came in late, it was put on the agenda, referred to finance. When we took it up, it had already expired. So I guess the time frame was missed when they received it. They're just going to reapply for it and get it, and once they do, they'll send it over to us. So it's not as if we're trying to get rid of grants, it's just, it's no longer there, so you have to give it leave to withdraw. With regards to 13M, the petitioner has requested that he no longer wants the license, so he's asking that be given leave to withdraw.
Okay, and do we have, let's see,
It
let me
should
just double
be an
check. We
email
have
attached.
correspondence from him.
Yeah.
Let's take a look.
Is that one of those ones where we should do it without prejudice, so there's no
Yeah, I
Right.
think that's what we
2-year
wrote on.
window or whatever?
Yeah, we wrote that on the order without prejudice.
I don't see the communication from him, though. That's the only thing attached to the
Yes.
package. Do we have that, or is that a did that come in as a late file?
I thought it was an email.
Should we table it then, just to be safe?
Table that one then?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
I would feel more comfortable because I don't want them to turn around next week and say, I changed my mind.
Yeah,
you
so
know?
that's
So
fine.
so probably we should just deal with L and table M.
That's fine.
Okay. All right, so counselors, we're gonna, motion to separate L and M.
Motion to
as a
reconsider our joining of the two?
Yeah.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so moved. So L is before the body. L is the giving leave to withdraw to that hazardous materials emergency preparedness grant as previously discussed by the chairman. All in favor of that committee recommendation?
Aye.
Opposed, so moved. On 13M, motion to table would be in order.
Motion to table?
Second.
Motion to table, item number 13M. Hopefully we'll have that letter and we'll take it up at our next meeting. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so moved. Okay, so that takes care of our committee reports. There were no public safety, public service, DGNR, or Charter and Rules Committee reports for this particular meeting. That now moves us to motions, orders, and resolutions section of the meeting, beginning with item number 18, which comes from Counselor, oh, excuse me, we already took care of 18 as part of the package from Counselor Bartley. That's already been adopted, which now brings us to item number 19 from Counselor Bresnahan. Ordered that the city clerk, the economic development director, in conjunction with the public service committee, develop a survey attached to the business permit application. This survey will inquire how the application process was for the applicant and if the process was business friendly.
Receive and refer to public service, the city clerk and the economic development director.
Okay? Motion's
Second.
been made and seconded to receive, refer to public service with a copy to the clerk as well as the economic development director as well. Under discussion?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. I'm certainly not trying to create any work for the city clerk or Marcus in the economic development office. I just want to have a sit-down and perhaps create a one-page document that's attached to the business permit that just gives us feedback, positive and negative. The community is big, and maybe some people have some better ideas of streamlining things, but I'm getting a lot of, when you're out in the public and you talk to the business owners or the folks that are trying to get permits, whether they be special permits or just permits in general, there just seems to be a lot of obstacles. So I just would like just get a sense of if we talk that we're business friendly, and let's get a sense of, if we actually are. And I don't want this document to be 20 pages. It could be one page. Just give us the good, the bad, and the ugly. And how was your experience within the city hall with the business application? And again, I want to be involved with it, and I don't want to create burdens on any one particular office. So I just ask that we just, try to get some feedback from the public when they pass in the business permits. Thank you.
Counselor Soto.
I'd like to sign on to that order. I think it's a great order.
Okay. Adding Counselor Soto's name without objection as a co-sponsor. Okay. All right. All in favor of referring to public service with the copies to the clerk as well as the economic development director? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so moved. Item number 20. Item number 20 comes to us also from Counselor Bresnahan, in that ordered, in the hopes of a more transparent city government and a better system of checks and balances within our city government, ordered that the law department provide a legal opinion on the powers of the executive branch that the executive branch currently has within the city charter with respect to the mayor being the sole person to enter into contracts and using tax dollars to pay out for these contracts without any approval from the city council or any body within the city. Further, to report back to the city council if an objective committee or board could be created in order to review contracts set forth by the executive branch to ensure that these monetary contracts the city is entering into are in the best interest of the city. This board should include the president of the city council, a member of the finance department within the city, and members of the public appointed by the city council.
I'd like to receive and refer this to the finance, and I say that only, I know it's more of a charters and rules committee, but I just think that with the current chair not seeking re-election, and DGR, with all due respect, we haven't met that often. I'm a member of that committee. I just think it'd be just so we get somewhere that the response goes somewhere. Councilor McGee meets frequently with his committee. At least if it gets there, we can figure out what to do with that information.
So you want to send, okay, so the motion on the floor is to receive, refer to finance with a copy over to the law department to work with us to look this over. Okay, very good. Counselor Graney?
Just a question to the maker of the motion. Should there be a timeline involved in this too?
somehow, some kind of a timeline to be
Within
efficient?
60 days or something?
I thought about that this evening. I have no objections to any amendments to that nature. If you want to make that motion, I have no problem with that.
All right,
You have a
so
suggestion,
Just
Howie?
place a time limit on it, 60 days, I don't know, 40 days, something like that.
Okay. We do have a rule that states that all orders are supposed to be taken up, no final action required, but are required to be taken up within 45 days. That is a rule.
Let's keep that standard operating procedure.
Okay. So I would anticipate finance will take this up certainly in the next 45 days. Knowing the chairman's aggressive nature and getting right on top of all these things, he's very good about that. So motion on the floor is to receive item 20, refer it to finance, and sending a copy over to the law department for their review. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Mr. President,
Opposed? So moved. Yes, Council President?
just to be brief, I don't want, this is
Oh,
not.
I apologize. Did you want to discuss that more?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Okay, I apologize. So
And
under
I don't,
further
I
discussion.
don't typically like to discuss orders, but I just want to say that this, we've sent letters to the AG's office, now to the Ethics Board. I mean, the fact of the matter is every mayor has had that authority. This is not something new. This has been in the charter. The mayor has authority. Every mayor has made these types of agreements, monetary agreements, through many departments, through people that have left of their own accord, to current city employees. That's the mayor's privy. That's the mayor's right. He can do that, by the way. It's the way our law is in the city of Holyoke. And I think if this body has a problem with the way the mayor is spending the taxpayers' money, we need to look at that power. I don't know that we can change it, but it's at least a little bit different direction, because I'm sure all of you, one of the topics that the public comes up with is they ask you about this. And I don't know, none of us know. But the only way we can change a future mayor, the current mayor, or any mayor 100 years down the road is to change the powers of the mayor, where any financial agreements that involve taxpayers' money, there should be some sort of board that reviews that to make sure that it's ethical, it's appropriate, it's in the best interest of the city. So this is not an attack on any current administration or previous, but every mayor has been doing this since the beginning of the city of Holyoke. So if our problem is making those types of payments, then we need to look at whether or not we can change that section of the charter. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Graney?
Would you sign me on to that?
Okay, adding Councilor Graney's name as a co-sponsor to item 20, please. Councilor Soto? Councilor Soto, item 20. Councilor Graney to item 20. Okay, thank you. And that has been referred to Finance with a copy to the Law Department, which now brings us to item number 21. Comes to us from Councilor Graney. Ordered that someone bring in, a representative from the police department be brought in to the Public Safety Committee to discuss the rules and regulations and laws regarding motor scooters and their use in the city of Holyoke.
Yeah, this is constituent oriented. It seems to me that we have different rules and regulations for motor scooters and motorcycles, helmets, licenses. There seems to be a lot of confusion about a lot of these scooters that are going around the streets. I'd like to kind of tighten that up and find out if there could be one or two laws that fits all, so that we will know exactly what's going on here, because these scooters are everywhere. They're in and out of the streets and the alleys and everywhere.
Are you requesting a motion to send it to Public Safety and invite the police department in?
Yes.
Okay.
Second.
So a motion's been made and seconded to receive this order, refer it to Public Safety with a copy to the police department. Continuing the discussion with Councilor Leahy.
If I could ask the maker of this order if I could be added on to this as well. So I did file this order maybe about 6 years ago. We did have a discussion, but I do think it's timely to do it again, because I have seen them out on the street again. And what it came down to is anything over 50 cc would require some sort of license. It would require directionals. It would require a license plate and that sort of thing. It was 49 cc's and less that did not require those types of things. But I'm glad that you're letting me put my name on this, and it's going to be a good conversation to have in committee.
And we also did create an ordinance regarding bikes of a certain height. Yeah. Remember there was one now where the really, really small ones that it's remarkable that they're even mechanized, but they're really fast and they're small, like
pocket
2.5, pocket.
That's what we're referring to.
Yeah, like, they're like 2.5 feet tall barely, or
50
really, really
cc's.
smalls, yeah. And so we do have an ordinance on that too. We could revisit that. Any other discussion? Okay. Motion on the floor is to receive, refer to the Public Safety Committee with a copy to the Police Department. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Okay. Item number 22 comes to us from Councilor Graney, that ordered that we install speed limit signs on Upper Hampden Street where businesses are located from Pleasant Street West to Northampton Street. Are you looking, perhaps, you were looking for an ordinance?
An ordinance, I'd like to, let me explain.
Well, you're not looking actually to change the speed limit sign, so therefore you're just looking for the signage.
I'm looking for a posting.
What the current speed limits are.
From the bank, from the People's Bank, there was no posting. The people come off, the cars come off that light.
So we can actually.
From Hampden Street.
So I think your best route is just to adopt this and refer it to the DPW, since you're only looking for signage of already something that ordinance-wise already exists.
All right, well, I'd like to examine the speed limit too, because there's a plethora of businesses there, from the bank to variety stores to hardware stores to restaurants, where people are exiting their car on the street side to get out to go into these businesses, and these cars are zooming up there at a high rate of speed. And there are no postings. There's a posting higher up on Hampden, I believe, but it's up on the top, past where these businesses are. And I think it's a definite safety situation. Something's going to happen there if we don't do something. It needs to be addressed.
Okay. So you want to put the speed limit signs up now, though, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So motion on the floor then is to receive and adopt this and refer it to the DPW. That's on the floor, and perhaps you'll file a future order if you feel the limit should be lower, if that's possible.
Well, there is no posting, so I don't know what the limit actually is.
So once they go up, maybe you can revisit the issue down the road as to if they're too high.
All I know is if you get out of the car on
very
the street
dangerous.
side, it's dangerous.
I don't disagree. I agree with you. Councilor Tallman.
Very familiar with that area, and if the maker doesn't mind me signing on to that, it is hazardous up there, and it's just they get that light and they just go right up there. I worked up in that area for 26 years delivering mail, so I'm very familiar with the speed. And they do have crosswalks up there, but sometimes people don't even stop at the crosswalks there, right in the corner. So anything that can be done, I think will be very helpful.
Councilor Leahy.
Yeah, thank you. If I could also be added on to this, I go up to Susan's Cafe probably 2 or 3 mornings a week for breakfast, and I would say that Harry Craven does a fantastic job of bringing that slow pedestrian walkway sign out. Does it every single morning at the same time around 6:30. And it's very dangerous. It's not only dangerous because the car is speeding up it, but the amount of trucks that are going up there as well, commercial vehicles. So that's a good order. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Councilor Alexander?
I can add my name to that one as well.
Okay. So without objection, adding Councilors Alexander, Leahy, and Tallman's names to this order. All in favor of that?
Aye.
Also moved. Motion on the floor is to receive, adopt, and refer to the DPW. Any other discussion? Councilor Valentin.
Thank you. I'm just kind of thinking, Councilor Graney, that when I tried to address my speed concerns, for example, on Pine Street, we had a very lengthy conversation actually in, I think it was the Public Safety Committee, and if I remember correctly, and the engineer came in, and DPW was involved, and HPD was involved, and my understanding and what I learned from that order that I filed in the past that was similar to a concern about speeding was that the reason there's not speed limit signs everywhere is that there's these categories throughout the city that are pretty much set as a standard. And so if we wanted to change that, it's a completely different process. So I don't have all the details in front of me in terms of the notes that I have from that, but it is a much bigger conversation about trying to reduce the limit, because they do base it on what's considered a residential area, what's considered, different areas throughout the city. So I'm happy to speak with you some more offline about what my experience was with that. And it is very frustrating because it shouldn't be the same speed limit in an area that's very condensely, or whatever the word is, but populated with businesses versus an area that is more open. And obviously, the further you go up, there's also residences. So there's speeding limit concerns as well. But I'm happy to share with you what I learned from that in the past.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of adopting?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. All right, item number 23 comes to us from Councilors Jordan, Graney, Leahy, McGee, Tallman, Vacan. that the city of Holyoke look into allowing people on septic tanks to dump their waste and have it collected in order for with the city, in order for the city to collect those fees instead of sending those out of town. And perhaps we could send this to finance with a copy over to the DPW
Second.
and Sewer Commission? Okay, that motion has been made and seconded. Counselor Soto? Yeah, adding Counselor Soto as a co-sponsor.
I'd like to be added on to.
Adding Counselor LeBron Martinez as a co-sponsor. Okay, adding Counselor Bresnahan as a co-sponsor, and question, Counselor Bresnahan. Correct. What came to the attention of the Finance Committee the other evening as part of this public hearing was that folks are saying that they're going out of town, paying these fees to have the trucks that come to their homes and take the waste, they're now paying to have it dumped at municipal and other commercial dumping areas, whereas we could actually collect those fees and have it dumped into our system here and be treated. And so we could collect those fees ourselves. And that actually could be a way of having some sort of lower cost instead of someone per se paying $300 of the dumping fee. Maybe they pay $200, but they pay it to Holyoke, as a for example. Councilor Leahy.
Yeah, we had a great, healthy discussion regarding, it was regarding the whole rain tax and that sort of thing, but a gentleman actually approached the microphone and said that, he's going to Southampton, he's going to Westfield to dump his septic tank. And, we were all kind of caught by surprise. We didn't realize that the city of Holyoke wasn't allowing that. Sure, it's going to be probably upfront money purchasing a truck that would have to pump it out, but I think down the road with as many families that we have in septic, it would be a moneymaker for the city, so I think it's a great order.
Mm-hmm. Certainly we should do a financial analysis and, we can get a report and evaluate it. Counselor Graney?
Well, the other fact is they're Holyoke residents, and we have to look out for our own residents, for crying out loud, I mean, why should they be going to Northampton or to Westfield?
Yep, I agree. Counselor Bacon?
Just to clarify, I think the point that he was making is they're the companies that come and clean out the septic tanks, but they then have to take it out of the city. So it wouldn't be that the city would have to purchase a truck necessarily. It's just that those companies could utilize our sewer treatment plant instead of going outside the city and hopefully save some money for both.
Right.
At least in the first instance.
Right. In the totality of the service, you could actually go and have a full service where you have the person, the truck doing the pickup and the delivery, or you could have it strictly that we be the dumping location for commercial vendors of Holyoke residents.
That was what another part of it.
Yeah, so we could have them analyze both scenarios. Councilor Lisi.
Thank you. Can you just list who the order is going to?
Yes, I'm recommending in the motion that it would go to finance with a copy to the DPW and Sewer Commission.
Second.
So we also add the Water Commission, because I wonder if we don't allow the septic dump because of the way that we treat our water and the way that the systems are related to one another.
No,
the river.
No, I think what this would be to bring the truck from septic tank down to Main Street, and then they would be dumped into the vat that gets treated just like anything else. It wouldn't involve any freshwater situations.
So motion to refer to
finance with
a copy to DPW and the Sewer Commission.
Exactly. Yep. Okay, so that's the motion on the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So moved. Okay. And item number 24 comes to us from Councilor LeBron Martinez, which is ordered that the city councilors, through the appropriate committee, address the issue of trees with roots lifting up property owners' sidewalks and stairs near 65 Elm Street. This tree belongs to Cramps Park, a city park. There is also outgrown branches over the electrical lines that will also need to be taken care of.
I guess
Receive, adopt, and refer
receive
to
it to
DPW.
DPW, yes.
All right, so motion on the floor is to receive, adopt, and refer to the DPW. Under discussion, Councilor LeBron Martinez.
Yeah, it was very obvious. I went over to the location. I received this message from Councilor Valentin. went over, met with the owner, and sure enough, that is lifting the sidewalk, the root of this tree that is in that park, coming out into the sidewalk, and is also going under their stairways in the house. So just to see what we can do about this.
Can we copy the genie as well?
Okay, with a
Yeah,
copy to the genie.
also the branches, yep, over the electrical lights. Thank you.
Do we need to copy the forester, or will he get a copy of this through the DPW?
They'll be notified.
Probably would get it through the DPW, yeah. I want to recognize Councilor McGivern. I believe you had your hand
I
up.
was going to suggest a G&E because
Oh,
if
okay.
it's electrical wires, they could probably get to it quicker.
Sure, okay. So we got that in there. So receive, adopt, refer to the DPW and G&E. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so moved. Item number 25 brings us to an order introduced by Councilor McGee. This is a grant acceptance through Chapter 44, Section 53A for the Bulletproof Vest Partnership Grant. Authorize the establishment of a fund for this purpose, as well as to create an accounting for the receipts of the administration of that grant. Okay, motion on the
Second.
floor is to receive, refer to finance. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so moved. Item number 26. Item number 26 is introduced by Councilor McGee, that the school department look into moving the school bus stop in front of People's United Bank on Northampton Street to the side parking lot area. The current location is very unsafe for children.
Can we receive, adopt, send to the school department as well as a copy to that joint committee that we have?
Yes.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to receive, adopt, and refer to the joint committee, and what was the other first one?
School department, see
And
if they
school
can act
department.
on it.
Yep, to take immediate action on this. Any discussion?
Just quickly, if you stand out there in the morning around 8 o'clock to 8:15, there's roughly 15 to 20 kids, and I'm talking little kids, ages between 2 and 7, standing on that sidewalk. Car comes around the corner in the wintertime, hits a patch of ice. It's only going to be a matter of time that we're going to read a really sad story. Trying to avoid that. If we can just have the buses go behind the bank and into that side lot there, pick them up and they're safe. Get them away from the road.
Okay, Councilor Graney?
Yeah, to add to that, in the wintertime, that walking area is greatly reduced because of the plows pushing the snow up onto it and so forth. So I'd like to sign on to this order myself.
Okay, adding Councilor Graney's name as a co-sponsor. Councilor Martinez?
Yeah, I have a question. You're saying that this is right in front of the bank, so they're on the sidewalk at the bank. Do you think it's because the hotel used to be a shelter as well, and they used to walk right to?
They're coming from the hotel. I've spoken with the parents, and they agreed to, if it would be moved to the side, from the sidewalk, that would be great for them.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of adopting? Aye. Opposed, so moved. Okay, that takes care of 26. 27. Item number 27 comes to us from Councilor Vacan. Order that the city engineer evaluate Route 202 at Ashley Road for the installation of barriers to prevent drivers from crossing the double yellow line as they travel toward Homestead Avenue. Drivers traveling toward Westfield are taking a left turn onto Ashley are experiencing drivers crossing the double yellow lines, causing the possibility of a head-on collision.
Adopt and refer to DPW and the engineer
Okay.
for evaluation.
All right, motion's been made and seconded to receive, adopt, refer to the DPW and city engineer. Under discussion, Councilor Vacan.
Thank you. I've been getting a whole variety of requests when I've been going door to door throughout the ward. And one of the residents of Ashley said she actually had that experience when she was on the road trying to take a left, and people are anticipating getting in that left lane. They're zipping right over the double yellow lines, and she thought she was going to get it head on. So I listened to her, and I wrote my note, and I came back, and I said, I got to get this in the agenda. And then I'm going up Westfield Road to go over the hill to go to my house, and does not a car cross over the double yellow lines as I'm going straight on the hill. And I had to literally yield on the main road going up the hill. So people are just, they're in a hurry, they're driving crazy, but it's not a simple thing. It's not like you can put Jersey barriers there, but maybe those flexible ones that you see. But I think the engineer really has to look at it, but, so that was a constituent request. Thank you.
Counselor Graney?
I know the area and I know the problem well because I've talked to several of the residents up there too, so I'd like to sign on to this if Councilor Bacon would allow it.
Sure. Counselor Bacon, you okay with that?
Sure.
Okay. Adding Counselor Graney's name as a co-sponsor. All right. All in favor of receiving, adopting, or referring to the DPW and city engineer? Aye. Opposed? So moved. Item number 28 is introduced by Counselor Bacon, that a large tree located on city property behind 36 Bray Park Road that has been deemed a safety hazard by a city official according to the resident be removed. This tree has one main branch break off and another main branch that is hollow and has a hole through it. City Forester. I assume.
To receive, adopt, and refer to DPW and the city forester.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to receive, adopt, refer to the DPW and city forester. Under discussion, Counselor Bacon.
Just briefly, I happened to see the tree. The thing is huge. It's in a really tough place. It's a challenge for the most skilled, I would say. But, so, I'm sure they'll do their best.
Okay, any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so moved. Item number 29, introduced by Counselor Bacon, ordered. An article quoting Representative Vega, Vega states, some counselors were assuming that a final House review already took place. They were wrong. At this point, House Counsel does have concerns, and those concerns have been communicated to the Council on numerous times. There are no politics at play here, quotation marks. Please provide the City Council with copies of the communications referred to by Rep. Vega regarding the home rule petition, as there have been no communications received by the City Council to date.
Well, I think as much as this would normally just be sent to committee, I guess we have received a communication on our desk this evening. Not that they're from the House General Counsel, but they do appear to be comments. I'm guessing this is a state rep who is the chair of the committee.
Yeah, it's dated today.
So we have received those on our desk today with some references. So I'll go with the will of the body in terms of this. I'm not sure what the protocol would be.
Could we take that up, or no?
Well, the
So
statement.
late filed, right?
Huh?
Should we just take up,
It's a,
the
yeah,
receive, late file,
Yeah.
whatever?
can we take the
It's a
communication
on
as,
our desk.
yeah.
I don't know. Is there a late file attached with it?
Yeah, is this marked with a number?
I have the paperwork and I don't have it.
So motion to suspend the rules to take up item B, late file B.
And
with-
allow discussion on it.
Second.
Okay. Motion has been made and seconded to suspend the rules at this time to also take up late file B, which is a communication from Theodore Spilitis, a state representative
Submitted
addressed.
by Rep. Vega.
Exactly, addressed to Representative Vega and therefore given to us. All in favor of that?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved. Okay. Please accept this as a late file communication. Rep. Vega. In the, you want me to read the letter, or?
You could read it into
Might
the
as well
record,
I'll
please.
just, huh?
It's short, so.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Dear Rep. Vega, thank you for your hard work and diligence on H 1872, an act relative to unpaid sewer use charges in the city of Hoyoke. You certainly have been a strong voice for the city. In the committee's view of the legislation, we believe the city currently has two options which would allow them to address their concerns when a resident fails to pay their water and sewer bills on time. The city of Hoyoke may adopt Section 9 of Chapter 40N enacted by the legislature as Chapter 343 of the Acts of 1992, which allows cities, through a vote of their city council, to shut off individual water and sewer service for lack of payment. That's the one about merging the two departments. And in this, he states, acceptance of 16A of Chapter 83 of the general laws as added by the legislature and Chapter 586 of the Acts of 1977 also provides cities, towns a mechanism to disconnect a sewer connection for non-payment. The conditions to shut off a sewer connection in response to an unpaid bill are stated in Section 16B of Chapter 83. For these reasons, the committee is hesitant to move forward with a home rule petition. However, if for any reason the city feels current law does not properly address their concerns, I would be more than happy to meet with you and local officials. I look forward to hearing from you soon. Sincerely, Theodore Spilitis, State Rep.
So, Mr. President, as a point of information,
Yes.
when we were doing our research into this matter, the Section 16A of Chapter 83 was never brought to our attention. So in order to find out how that might be applicable to us, would my order need to be sent to Ordinance to deal with the communication from the state legislature because of that? Or should we refer it to legal first?
Well, item 29 is asking for us to get copies of past communications made regarding supposed updates that were stated that we received. I don't know what the will of the body is with that. This item, on the other hand, this late file B, I think we should refer it to, say, Finance and ask, and with a copy to the Law Department and ask her to give us a legal review of these two options, and therefore, and then make a recommendation to Finance as to, what our options are.
Okay, so the reason I asked for point of information is because my order did refer to the past, because there had been multiple references made that this body had received communications. It's been on the news for weeks and months that we haven't done anything, and we've been given all these communications. And so I had never seen any, and nobody else I spoke to had ever seen any. So I guess there aren't any. So I want the record to show that we did not receive any communications. There have been no past communications. Now we have a current communication dated October 20th. Thank you.
Mr. President,
Councilor Alexander.
can I offer an amendment that this go to ordinance because that's where the change to the ordinance to do something about this whole sewer non-payment, whatever we do, we have to create an ordinance for it. There are already orders sitting over there. And if you'll check with Ryan, I just filed a very late file on the same issue, that if we could take that up next, that would be helpful.
Okay. That's, yep. Councilor Graney?
Just a question through the chair, Mr. President. If there is a law that exists on the books that we can shut this off, then legal should be able to give us the advice on that, and we could move ahead and do it. Why go further?
Right, that's what we're asking them to do, would be to send them a copy of these. I don't think anybody's heard of the Acts of 1977 before. That's kind of new. 40N, we know what that is, right? That's this new merge, two departments, and there's a whole legal opinion, which I'm actually going to be getting you guys a copy of, that the Water Department, I actually should have mentioned this in President's report, but the Water Department recently employed outside counsel to do a full evaluation of 40N and what the impacts of all that would be. So I will get you guys a copy of that legal opinion. The Acts of 1977, I'm completely unfamiliar with that, so we would ask the Law Department to review both of those.
Well, that's my question.
Let us know
I mean, if there's an existing law and it's a state law, do we need an ordinance to do it?
Generally, we don't send necessarily local approvals through ordinance committee. We could send it to any of the committees. I mean, we don't need to pass an ordinance to do a local approval.
Or could we move on it directly, is what my question is.
We could, assuming we know what we're acting on. We need to
Well, as soon as we get the legal opinion from legal, we should be able to do it. That's my point.
Correct.
Mr. President?
Councilor Alexander.
This does need to go to committee, but very, very briefly, one of the issues and the reason that particular chapter isn't going to work very well for us is that it says you can shut off the sewer. We don't have valves on the sewer system. There's no physical way to shut it off, so that particular solution path is closed off to us.
So why do people put that in a letter as a solution then?
Because they don't know what the
infrastructure looks like.
Infrastructure under our cities is.
So that's my
somewhere
point.
else maybe that works, but it won't work here.
Yeah, but if people are supposedly having all this advocacy on behalf of Holyoke.
All I'm saying is let's kick it to a committee where this can be hashed out.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, Councilor McGivern, did you have your hand up?
I'm all set, thank you.
Okay, Councilor Lisi.
I just wanted to point out that if there are state laws, then what we would have to do locally is adopt the state law.
Right.
So we don't have to create additional ordinances, but we should review it
Definitely.
with the legal department.
Yep, exactly. Councilor Bacon?
Thank you, Mr. President. I would just note that because they are citing Chapter 83, and that's part of their hesitancy, if we move on this quickly, it might give them the answer that they need to move forward with the home rule petition, that we are not able to
and
implement that, given our infrastructure. And it's unfortunate they don't already know that, but that would be an easy thing to communicate to them, to urge them to
would think.
move this out of committee. Thank
Yes,
you.
and I liked his last sentence, which I thought was also very gracious, which is, if these don't work for you, we're happy to meet with you and discuss your particular issue in
Can I
Hoyle.
actually move that we table this for like a minute and take up the late file that I just filed, which is to bring him in? Second.
Oh, really? Okay, all right. Motion on the floor is to table item number 29 in late file B. All in favor of that?
Aye.
Opposed, so moved. Motion is to suspend the rules.
Motion to suspend, take up late file. I
File
don't know the
D.
letter.
Okay. And you're so famous, you only go by GPA now when you sign your orders.
I'm the only GPA.
You don't
You
even,
know who it
you
is.
don't even,
I was in a hurry.
all in favor of suspending the rules to allow discussion and to go to late file D filed by GPA? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so moved. Counselor Alexander files an late file order that says that the ordinance committee invite in Ted Speliotis.
Guy who wrote the letter that's in front of us.
To address the sewer bill and payment issues at the earliest possible date. Okay?
I'm open to an amendment to move it to
Do
some
you
other
think he
committee.
would really come down here, though?
He sent us a letter saying he's willing to come down and discuss. I'm calling his
No, he
bluff.
said he's willing to hear from us.
He's the chairman of that committee. I'll bet you he means put your can in a car and go down and see him, but recognizing Council President, did
Thank
you
you, Mr.
want?
President. Listen, there's orders that are somewhere in the vaults of City Hall that have been filed by myself and other councilors. We don't need Aaron Vega, we don't need Theodore or anybody else down in Boston. We need to adopt 40N. If you don't know what 40N means and the ramifications, then we need to look at it ourselves. It just simply says that. And this is exactly what the city of Springfield. There's orders out there to invite the Sewer and Water Commission folks in Springfield, our neighboring town, that did exactly this, that no longer has it separate. You don't pay your sewer bill, they turn the water off to the building. It's that simple. They don't have collection problems of sewer bills like that because they created this commission. The city of Hoyle needs to adopt 40N, or we need to talk about it in some committee so we're all aware of the ramifications of this law, and we don't need anybody else to do it. We don't need any state representative come down and to give us a dog and pony show. He probably knows as much about sewer as, Frankenstein does. I mean, he's no good to us. We got to adopt 40N. It's that simple. And then we can move from there.
Counselor Soto.
I agree with Council President. Well said.
Did I see another hand up over there? Okay, any hands over here? Counselor Bacon?
I know we've tabled the other things, but I just don't think that's the answer to our problem, to have somebody come and talk to us in the committee. They've told us what they want us to look at in the letter.
I mean, if he'd be willing to come down and see us, that's great, but I'd be really impressed if he would.
I mean, the order just says invite him in, so he could refuse the invitation.
And we
Exactly.
can say, and here's why.
I'm all for it. I'm with you.
So-
But I'm just saying, okay.
And it
I'd
gets
be
the whole issue
impressed.
back in committee, and then we can send another
Okay,
letter
great.
into.
All right, so motion on the floor is to receive and adopt, receive and refer late file D to ordinance committee. And then there'd be an extension of an invitation from the ordinance committee. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
Motion to take up whatever item is tabled there.
Motion to remove from the table late file B and item 29. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion to
Opposed?
refer to ordinance.
So moved.
So I would like to make a motion to refer those to legal relative to the recommendations in the letter so that they can get back to us as to what would be required of us to do that.
Okay. So you want to refer, what do you want to do with item 29?
Refer to ordinance,
Which
copy
is-
to legal?
Which is the back communications, or do you want to keep them as a package?
The back communication, I'm willing to do receive, adopt, and found to be complied with as long as the record shows that there was no communication.
Okay. So motion on the floor for item number 29 is that the order is complied with and that to the counselor's knowledge, and certainly to my knowledge, I have no personal knowledge of any communication, but that's just me, unless anybody else has knowledge of those, that the order has been complied with. Okay. Any other discussion of 29? Counselor Lisi.
I just have to say, I feel uncomfortable saying, writing into the record that there's been no communications without allowing Representative Vega to say whether or not or furnish some material. So I would say, it could be complied with, that we're going to ask Rep. Vega for whatever communications he may have sent this way, and if there are none, then we can have it reflect that there are none, but
That's actually what the order says. It does say, please provide the city council with copies of communications referred to by Rep. Vega. So we could say that the order be adopted and referred to Representative Vega to produce.
That's fine with me. The
Okay.
reason that I was suggesting that there isn't any other communications because Rep. Vega gave us this one tonight. So I would have assumed if he had other ones, he would have also provided them. But let's not assume. We can ask him officially.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
motion on the floor is to receive, adopt, refer to Representative Vega to produce said communications. Does that sound fair? Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. And we now have late file B, which is the communication that we have from Mr. Speliotis, and
Refer to ordinance.
refer to ordinance
Second.
is the recommendation. Any discussion? Eric?
I'd
Go ahead,
also,
Counselor Bacon.
if I may, I'd like it to go to finance. This is an important financial issue, and we don't even know if we'll need an ordinance relative to the second recommendation.
Okay.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to instead refer it to the Finance Committee. Okay. Counselor Lisi?
I think that Councilor Bresnahan is correct in stating that he's got an order. I think there were 2 other councilors that filed orders related to 40N. So it seems that there could be an entire meeting dedicated to exploring 40N versus this other option. It just seems that it would keep everything intact.
Keep it all in one place.
I don't know, did we ever agree that 40N was going to be decided by the Ordinance Committee? On that local acceptance, I don't think we
I
were-
don't think that it's.
No order to my knowledge has been ever filed to accept 40N. No. And we've never had a conversation that ordinance was going to be the committee to do that. So I don't know if we want to have that conversation tonight, but.
I don't think that I'm implying that we're going to adopt 40N in ordinance committee, but there were 5, we have at least 3 that I could think of, orders related to exploring 40N as an option. That's all that the orders say.
And they're in ordinance now.
Yep.
Okay. Counselor Bacon?
I would just like legal to weigh into us before it gets sent to ordinance. It might not even require an ordinance.
You're right, it may not.
There isn't going to be any ordinance because even 40N is only a local approval law. That wouldn't be an ordinance. And acceptance of these, if we did, would also be just a vote of the city council. You wouldn't need an ordinance.
Sure, but we need some place to discuss it.
Correct. And the question now is finance or ordinance. That's the only distinction. I think you could make a solid argument either way. So, 2 councilors have proposed ordinance, 2 councilors have proposed finance. Current motion on the floor is to go to finance. We'll see if that passes. If that fails, then we'll revisit ordinance, and then we'll take it from there, okay? So we'll vote.
Just in terms of procedure, since we have our Politics 101 folks behind us, I believe that the amendment was made to go to ordinance. That would be the first vote, would it not?
No, the main motion was to go.
finance.
His motion was to send it to ordinance, and then it was amended by Counselor Bacon, seconded by Counselor Bartley to send it to finance.
Okay.
So the finance vote will be first, okay? All right. Counselor Alexander,
Just
under
briefly,
discussion?
I don't care which committee it goes to. Finance is fine, but if we're going to send it to finance, we should pull at least 3 orders that are sitting in ordinance out of ordinance and send them to finance, because there's no reason for 2 committees to be hearing the same issue.
Okay.
And Mr. President,
Council President.
and as to the chair's point of that committee, that with she's got a huge workload in that committee. I mean, and if they've been sitting there for a length of time, they might as well just have
Send the whole thing to finance, is your
send the whole thing
opinion?
to finance. Not that Todd doesn't have a busy committee easy, but I think the ordinance we all know is, the busiest.
Well, and the stormwater fee stuff went to finance too as well. So go ahead, Counselor Lisi.
Yeah, I just want to say, in defense of my committee and the work that we've been doing, we have taken up and had discussion on 40N related to the collection of sewer fees that generated the home rule petition. So it's not like they've been sitting there buried and no one's been dealing with them. We took up the orders, we discussed the orders, we came out with an outcome, and we've been waiting to hear back on the home rule petition to figure out if 40N is still something that we need to pursue, or if we're moving forward on our home rule petition.
Yep,
So I just
no,
want to make sure
you're-
that that's clear to everyone.
Sure, no. Well, it's crystal clear. Your committee works very, very hard. Counselor McGivern.
Make an amendment to send everything to DGR.
You can't amend an amendment, so that's out of order.
That committee doesn't
Counselor
exist.
Grady.
That committee doesn't exist.
I think that we ought to do something here, so
I
let's
thought that was
just
charter.
move on
Sorry,
the
Dan.
question, okay?
So, do you want to expand the motion to send all the stuff, all the sewer-related items over to finance?
Yes.
Okay, is there a second to that? Second. Okay. All right, motion on the floor is to send this, late file B, and all sewer-related items to the finance committee. All in favor of that?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
So moved. Okay. Item number 30. Item number 30 is an order introduced by Counselor Vacan that the acting auditor correct a material error in the city's response to the recommendation from the outside auditor, Mellinson Heath. The recommendation states that, quote, "This plan should include, to the extent to which the USER emphasis added charges may need to increase in order to finance sewer operations and capital improvements on an ongoing basis." In the city's response, it states that we would like to fund those upgrades by imposing a new stormwater fee. This recommendation is currently being reviewed by the city council. This is a misstatement of fact. There is no stormwater fee before the city council. That statement should be deleted from the report that is dated June 18th, 2015, and was received in the clerk's office on September 25th, 2015.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would just like this to be received, adopted, and sent to our acting auditor's office. He has assured me that he will communicate to the outside auditors who will be coming into the city to review the audit with the Finance Committee, and he has assured me that he will make that communication to them.
Second the motion to adopt.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded to receive and adopt. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of receiving, adopting, and referring over to our acting auditor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So moved. Item number 31 is introduced by Counselor Vacan. That legal staff update the city council regarding any response from John Lumber regarding the repayment of more than $20,000 in salary he collected after beginning full-time employment with Loomis Communities. The city council voted unanimously that he should repay this money.
If our legal, if we
You
can
wanna
suspend the
receive,
rules
adopt, or
and the
refer to
legal
legal, or
can
for a report, or-
answer, I would otherwise say to receive, adopt, and refer to legal.
Second.
Okay, all right. So motion's been made and seconded to receive, adopt, and refer
No, the
to-
motion is to
Oh,
suspend the rules and allow
ask
legal
the
to
law
approach.
department right now? Okay. Motion has been made and seconded to suspend the rules to ask the law department to address us on item number 31. All in favor of that?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Kara, have we heard anything from Mr. Lumbra?
No, there hasn't been any response. I did provide the council with a copy of the communication that I sent to him along with a copy of the order after it went into effect, so.
Okay.
It has been sent, but I've not received any response.
Okay.
Thank you.
So this has been complied with then?
I think we can consider it complied with, but I think it should be noted. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Any other discussion? Counselor Soto?
Kara, is there any way that the city can recoup that? Do we sue? Can we, how does that work?
I mean, I think I had already given an opinion that there was nothing that prevented him from holding 2 full-time jobs. I'm happy to, provide another copy of that. So, and I think Counselor Bacon had noted as well when she filed the order that, we didn't necessarily have any legal recourse, but.
Thank you.
And, Mr., if I may, to
Sure,
that
Councilor Reagan.
point of order, that is correct, that I did note that. I think it's more of an ethical issue, especially considering the person's running for city council. So is he going to take this council stipend if he's elected and never show up here? Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Any other discussion?
Yeah.
Counselor Graney?
Is it possible that we could send a letter to the gentleman asking him to return the money?
That was what we already did that, and
Oh,
she's
okay,
reporting
all
to us there has been no response.
Okay, all right. How about a second letter?
And it's
Certified.
$20,049 we're at.
Maybe I doubt the Postal Service lost the first one, right? You deliver that, you got that, you got Bemis? No, I don't.
No comment.
Okay. Okay.
Mr. President, I am happy to consider that complied with.
Okay.
Asked
Motion-
and answered.
All right, motion on the floor is that 31's been complied with. And is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so moved. That takes care of 31. 32, introduced by Counselor Vacan, is that the mayor rescind his executive order that directs our police chief to ignore federal immigration laws for detaining illegal aliens. Our mayor should not be directing our police chief to violate the law.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like this to be received and adopted. I filed this order in response to constituent requests. Their concern being that we have not had an issue in our city of it being run in any way, shape, or form like a police state. There has been no concern over profiling of people in our city, and this executive order takes us out of compliance with federal law. And we've heard a lot on the news around sanctuary cities, although I guess we're sort of a quasi-sanctuary city, to the point where there, are being there's a lot of general concerns being raised about communities exempting themselves under certain laws that they choose not to follow. So I'm filing this on behalf of constituents, and I'm also filing it because I think we need to be supporting our police, and I think when the police have to start picking and choosing which laws they enforce and which they don't, I think it makes a tough job even tougher. This in no way is reflective, at least in the way that it was portrayed to me, in any divisive way against any group in our community. We know we don't have a big problem in Holyoke with illegal immigrants. So the question of why this executive order would even be issued is, questionable on its face, because we just don't have the problem. So why would we have the fix? But anyway, I'm filing it on behalf of the constituent. I see their point, and so be it.
Counselor Leahy.
Yeah, I'd like to see this go to committee and bring in maybe the mayor, the chief of police, maybe our state, and maybe our federal delegation.
Chairman, is that a motion? Second.
This is something I don't feel comfortable voting on.
Public safety?
Yeah.
We probably need to give additional information.
Yeah.
This is something I don't feel comfortable on voting on, just straightforward like this. I don't have the language or the laws in front of me, wasn't provided for to me. I'm just looking up at the dam up there where, hundreds of thousands of Irish immigrants came over here, some legal, some not legal. This is something that's more delicate than just, responding to 5 sentences on a piece of paper. Maybe even encourage Congressman Neal to come in. I've heard him discuss this topic many times before, and he does a wonderful job doing it. Thank you.
Might also be helpful if we get a copy of the actual communication from the mayor and some of these communications around it, so we have the benefit of the full picture. Counselor Alexander?
Yeah, fine, this can go to committee, and I'm sure there'll be a useful discussion there. But really, this is an executive order that means almost nothing because, as Councilor Vacan pointed out, we don't have an issue. We're not swamped with illegal immigrants. There is no enforcement going on now, so in order to not enforce laws that don't apply is irrelevant. Further, we can't tell the mayor to rescind an executive order, so this order is just a feel-good order to rescind another order that's just a feel-good order, so the whole thing seems kind of just like a bunch of posturing to me, but send it to committee.
Send it to
If
Charter
I may,
Rules.
I
To
just,
die
Send it to
forever.
Charter Rules.
I'll put it at the bottom of the jacket.
Counselor Bacon?
So there is a jacket.
I would just,
Counselor Bacon has a
I would just note that as representatives of our constituents, it's our responsibility to file orders, whether they think it's posturing or you think it's posturing. If it's an issue for some of the constituents, it's an issue for them. And I wouldn't minimize it. Thank you.
Any other thoughts on this issue? Counselor Tallman?
No, I respect Counselor Vacan in bringing this forward for a constituent, and something that I think we have to look at. But as Counselor Leahy said, we got to get the whole picture.
Right.
Get some more information about this. The laws. To get the police chief in here, and maybe even refer us to the law department to find out what this is really all about. I think we all could get a good education about this and about sanctuary cities. So it'd be good for us.
Mm-hmm. Counselor Valentin?
Thank you. First, I wanted to thank and commend Nelson Ramon, who used the public comment time to actually share his view and his opinion on this, which I actually share. No surprise there, coming from a Latino background myself. When I saw this order, the first thing that...
Counselors. Go ahead, Counselor Valentine.
Thank you. When I saw this order, the first thing that really caught my eye was the use of the phrase illegal aliens, which is completely inappropriate. So it should be illegal immigrants. But, I just want to add to that point of our constituents, and they tell us to file an order, and absolutely, I agree with all that. But also to keep in mind that even folks that are illegal immigrants in the city of Holyoke are our constituents. So even though they cannot vote for us, they are residents here, and they deserve the same level of respect that anyone else does. Thank you.
Counselor Graney?
Yeah, I don't think that this has anything to do with respect. I think it has to do with the law, and I think we need to take a look at the law.
Exactly. Thank you,
Okay.
Counselor Greenie.
Okay, anybody else? All right, motion on the floor is to receive and refer to the Public Safety Committee. All in favor of that?
Aye.
Opposed, so moved.
No.
Okay. And that takes care of 32, 33. Item number 33 is introduced by Counselor Vacan. Ordered that as long as taxpayers with private sewers, parentheses, septic systems, are paying to subsidize the sewer fund, which is supposed to be self-supporting, and/or in the event that a citywide stormwater fee is imposed, homeowners, upon presentation of a valid septic service repair improvement bill, will be reimbursed up to $500 per year. That the city will determine the proper office and establish procedures to implement this reimbursement system. That's,
Receive and refer to,
Finance. That's where all the rest of it went.
Counselor Vacan, I'll
Finance
give you
gets us the
first crack at
sewage.
discussion.
it's self-explanatory.
Okay. Counselor Lisi?
Thank you. I do want to note that in the past year and a half now, Councilor McGivern filed an order that we review the sewer fee. The Ordinance Committee moved out of committee a fee, I believe the fee was $6.05. That would be a user fee, would be the accurate amount of money to be collecting from sewer users to pay for the use and systems and repairs of the sewer treatment plant and its facilities. So I would say that the only reason why we're at this point where taxpayers are subsidizing the sewer fees is because this body has failed to set a rate that accurately covers the user fees. Thank you.
Is 605 that rate, or I thought I saw it was $9 was the rate to pay the 1.3?
The one that came out of committee a year and a half ago was 605.
Yeah, but, okay. And the report from the sewer department is that you have to be 9 to pay the 1.3. So.
Because we've been not collecting an accurate amount of money to cover the costs.
All right. I won't enter into debate, but check the math on that. Counselor Soto?
It's okay with the maker, I'd like to be signed on to that order.
Okay.
Sure.
I think Counselor Soto as a co-sponsor. Anybody else? Hearing none. All in favor of referring to finance?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Nope.
Late file A. Late file A introduced by Counselor Jordan, that a handicap sign space be created in front of 16 Leary Drive. Receive, refer to ordinance. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Also moved. Copy on Commission on Disabilities, please. Thank you. Adding that on there. Late file B, we already took care of. Late file C is introduced by Counselor Jordan. And that is that the DPW place temporary speed humps near the beginning and end of Leary Drive, as well as near the turn near York Circle on Leary Drive. Okay.
To the endless list.
Suspend the rules to allow us to take up final action on this item.
So moved.
Moved. All in favor of that?
Aye.
Also moved. All in favor of adopting and referring to the DPW?
Aye.
All opposed? So moved. No, we got one more. Let's see, now we had late file. That was C. We did D. This is E. Late file E is introduced by Counselor Jordan, that the school department and DPW put up signs at Sullivan School stating that parking is for school use only, and also for voters on Election Day. Also that Sullivan School and DPW please designate sufficient spaces for voters near the door to allow them to vote. I would ask that we suspend the rules to allow final action on this item. All in favor of that?
Aye.
So moved. I make a motion that this be received, adopted, and referred to the DPW and school department.
Second.
Okay. Briefly under discussion, I would just tell you from observing the primary, it was total chaos over there in terms of parking. You've got people from the nursing school next door are using the Sullivan School parking lot, which they shouldn't be doing. They have their own parking lot. There was totally insufficient number of spaces for the voters to come in and out on Election Day. People were having to walk long distances. There was a lot of complaints, and we just need to do, my only suggestion to the DPW is either they cone or with the police or whatnot, but they make sure there's enough spaces near the voting area for the voters. That would be greatly appreciated. Yes.
Isn't there already an officer that's assigned to that polling location? So
Yeah.
maybe
I'm just
having
asking
them work
to
together.
enforce that, yeah, because what happened is, the whole lot filled up, and then it was like, oh, boy, okay, now what do we do? And then there was no place for people to park at different parts of the day, and it was really problematic. So just trying to give them a heads up that, I know verbally we talked about this, but I wanted to send something in writing, too. And they said they would.
Mr. President, maybe to giving Kathy Hangle a call over there at the nursing school, just tell her to remind them not to park there.
Yeah, because you're just watching them all walk back and forth to the Sullivan School parking lot. It's like, come on, guys, we're better than that. Okay, Counselor Graney?
An announcement?
Oh, okay, just on late file E, all in favor of adopting?
Aye.
Opposed, so moved. Announcement from Counselor Graney.
I just wanted to say, I think Counselor Valentin was there, I was there, there was a few other counselors there at the dedication to the new Hoyle Community College nursing facility. And
Yes.
all I got to say, it's a state-of-the-art facility, and a lot of our kids are going to take advantage of it, and I think it's a wonderful thing.
Great, thank you. Anything else? Hearing none, a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Good luck, all.
Yep, everybody good luck. All in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. We stand adjourned.